Have you ever looked around and felt completely lost? Maybe it starts with a Monday morning. Your alarm goes off, another workday, emails, deadlines, meetings, needings, need, nod, reply, deliver. And yet, something inside you feels absent, like your soul is sitting somewhere far behind, just watching. You scroll through your phone, you answer messages, you laugh at jokes in the office. Asterisk, you think back to the dreams you once had, but somewhere between the bills, the pressure, the expectations, and the social noise, you forgot how to listen. To life, to your own breath, to your soul. Asterisk. You begin to ask questions you never dared ask before. Who am I, beyond all this noise? What if peace isn't outside, but already within? Could it be that there is another way to live? Asterisk, because sometimes, only when things fall apart, do we finally stop pretending they're okay. That was how it began. A breaking point, quiet, invisible, yet deeply personal. Suffering is not the end. It is the beginning of awakening. It wasn't a sudden transformation, no flash of enlightenment, no booming voice from the skies. It was subtle, gentle. You paused, you reread it. Asterisk, everything that has a beginning also has an end. Because if everything is impermanent, then pain, too, will pass. If joy comes and goes, then sadness will come and go. And with each breath, you weren't running from life anymore. You were learning to return to it. To yourself. It was about becoming real. Gentle. Present. Awake, and slowly, you stopped needing to be perfect. You just needed to be. True healing, as the Buddha taught, means learning to see the pain without becoming the pain. Asterisk, impermanence. Everything changes. Nothing stays forever. Not your sadness, not your success. This too shall pass. A phrase so simple, and yet in the darkest moments, it becomes a lifeline. When you feel overwhelmed, pause, put your hand on your chest, feel the breath move, and softly remind yourself, nothing is permanent. This feeling will pass. This moment will shift. Vienthong is not a curse. It's a blessing, because it means you can begin again, right now. Mindfulness, the present moment, is the only time there is THCHNT. Aishinto, return to your breath. To truly taste your food. To look into someone's eyes and really see them. That is presence. That is mindfulness. You don't need a meditation cushion or a monastery. You just need your breath and a little kindness. Try this simple practice. Next time you wash the dishes, feel the warmth of the water. Notice the motion of your hands. Be there completely. Because Buddhism isn't just about philosophy, it's about practice, presence, and deep compassion for yourself and for others. The more you learn to sit with your emotions, the less you fear them. The more you embrace impermanence, the less you panic when things fall apart. And the more you let go, the more space you make for joy to enter. Asterisk. You don't need to be in a temple to practice the Buddhist path. You can be standing at the sink, holding a crying child, or waiting in traffic. Asterisk. There was a man who had just gone through a painful divorce. He said, I couldn't let go of the resentment. It was eating me from the inside. Every day I replayed what she did, what I said, what we lost. But then he came across this teaching from the Buddha. Holding on to anger is like holding a hot coal. You are the one who gets burned. He sat with that. He didn't force forgiveness. He just began with acceptance. That it happened. That he was hurt. That he didn't need to carry the pain forever. Each morning he whispered to himself, I am ready to let go. Not for them, but for me. And slowly, peace returned. A young woman in her 20s wrote, I looked perfect on Instagram, but inside, I felt hollow. Like I was living for likes and dying for meaning. She stumbled upon a Zen quote, you don't need to be more, you just need to come home. So she began practicing walking meditation. Just 10 minutes a day, barefoot in her backyard, feeling the earth, hearing the wind, breathing with the trees. At first it felt silly, she said, but one day, I cried, not from sadness, but from finally feeling real. You don't need big changes to begin healing. You just need small sacred pauses, like whispering to yourself, this too shall pass. When overwhelmed, placing your hand on your heart and breathing deeply, especially when self-doubt arises, looking at someone you love and saying, I'm here with you, not just with your words, but with your attention. Letting yourself cry when you need to, not as weakness, but as cleansing. Healing doesn't mean becoming someone new. It means remembering who you've always been, behind the noise, behind the wounds, behind the masks. And Buddhism, it's not about escaping life. It's about coming back to it, with open eyes, an open heart, and a quiet, steady breath. Asterisk, I want you to hear this. You are not broken. You are becoming. Just like the lotus grows from the mud, your beauty is born from your struggle. Pain does not make you less. It makes you real. And healing. Healing is not a straight line. It's a spiral. Some days you'll feel light. Other days you'll forget everything you've learned. That's okay. Come back. Gently, kindly, patiently. Asterisk, the Buddha never promised a life without pain, but he offered a path, a way to suffer less, to understand, to accept, to transform. And maybe the deepest truth of all is this: peace is not found outside, it's something we learn to uncover from within. You don't need to change who you are to be worthy. You are already enough, just as you are, with all your flaws, your doubts, your cracks, your beauty. Tonight, before you sleep, place your hand over your heart and say gently, I'm doing the best I can, and in this moment, that is enough. Then breathe. Let go. Rest. You've walked so far. You're not alone. You are loved. And you are already home. Asterisk, if this video has touched something in your heart, a memory, a softness, a small flicker of hope, then maybe you're not here by accident. We created this space, Buddha's teachings, magical Buddhism, not to preach, but to walk with you, through the noise, through the mess, into something quieter, something real, something whole. If you feel called, join us. Subscribe. Not just to follow, but to remember who you are. What matters. And how deeply you are not alone.